When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
In spite of our mechanical magnificence.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a plane! It's a plane!
Todd Vandenberg.
Is that with him under the hat?
Guess who's coming to dinner?
And Rob Steele.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain!
As you can imagine, they don't let us out much.
All my filth is in alphabetical order. This, for example, was under H for toy.
Movie reviews.
So you're here to save the world.
Movie news.
Dad! Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet!
And the occasional rumor or TV news.
I object to all this sex on the television. I keep falling off.
Oh, that's not right.
God, I love my work.
And to make a long story short, too late. One by one, you all arrived.
Yes, we are back, and you're going to regret listening to us. No, that's not it.
That is it.
Oh.
That is exactly it.
Welcome back to Cinema Savants. He's Todd Vandenberg. I'm not sure who I am anymore because I watched the Ghostbusters movie this week and it gave me a stroke.
That's a lovely opening.
Thank you. I've worked on it for all of 4, 5, 6 seconds, 7. Hi, Todd. How you doing?
I'm groovy. How are you, stroke minder? Master? Person?
Oh, dear. That could be taken so many ways. I'm...
Good.
I'm here. Frankly, that's about it at this point. We've got movie news, and I have a little TV news to throw in at some point later. Not now, though, because it's the beginning of the show, and we should be talking movies because it's called Cinema Savants. And you can even find us on Twitter at Cinema Savants now because one of us figured out that you can change the name, and his name, the person who figured that out, was not Lee.
And it wasn't me either.
I blame Ted. So anyway, where do we want to start this week, Todd?
I don't know. Are we actually doing a show now? Let's do a show. Why not?
Yeah, we're here.
Let's talk about a little bit of box office. Now, the initial figures, this is only for Friday because we're doing something tricky. We're not really live today, and you're listening today. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children did $9 million on Friday. The estimate is it'll probably do 25 or 26.
My daughter's not happy with that movie and hasn't even seen it yet.
We'll get into that shortly. Deepwater Horizon came in number 2 with 7.1. Again, just on Friday. Estimates it'll probably do $19 million for the weekend. Both of those films, $110 million budget. So they're both kind of probably maybe in a little bit of trouble. Yes, yeah. Each. The Magnificent Seven, which I did see, which I liked a lot. Again, on Friday, just did 4.6. Looks like it'll probably wind up doing about, so far for the 2-week run, about 54 million, somewhere in that range. They had a budget of 90 million, so basically that's kind of tanking, which I think is a shame. Storks came in 4th, Sully came in 5th. The other debut for the week is Masterminds, which came out to a sparkling $2.3 million on Friday. Estimate that it'll do about $6 million for the weekend. That's not exactly huge. I don't care what the budget was. And Bridget Jones' Baby, and yes, I am going to make the joke, is stillborn. About $20 million so far in 3 weeks, and that was a budget of $35. So even at a budget of $35 million, which is, I don't know, like a tip in Hollywood.
Something like that.
They'll be lucky. I mean, they'll probably make their budget, but barely. So that's got to be quite disappointing to the studio.
Sounds like Masterminds might make enough money to have paid off Zach Galifianakis to have been in the movie, and that's about it.
Maybe. They probably should have filmed it between two ferns.
No, it would have been too easier.
So your daughter is upset about Miss Peregrine's Home.
She is.
Why is that?
Because she's read the books.
Right.
And not the best adaptation, and she can tell that from the trailer, because she has not seen the movie. The problem she has with it is, already, that our main character, the little boy, in the trailer falls in love with the little girl who has to wear the big heavy shoes, otherwise she'll float off. In the book, it is a completely different character that he falls in love with. And right there, she's just kind of already going, look, if you can't get that right... apparently he's supposed to fall in love with the pyromaniac girl who creates fire by herself. Again, I have not seen the movie. I have not read the books. I'm going by my daughter,
right,
who is quite accurate on stuff like this. Very, very unhappy with the trailer. Might be happy with the movie someday. I think this is going to be another one of those Fantastic Four 2015 movies where, if you'd read the book before you made the movie, you might have done a little bit better, and yet didn't.
You got to trust the kids. My daughter, her same thing came up, but her series was Lemony Snicket's, a series of unfortunate events, and she was hostile towards that movie. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Like
you don't need
the X-Men movies? No, can't.
You don't have to have read the books or even seen the film. If you see that they've made major changes in the trailer for no apparent reason, and you're a fan of the books, when your children are fans of young adult fiction and they've screwed it up that badly, that says a lot. Although I will say, it does have Ava Green, that's something to recommend it.
Well, I mean, there's another one, and this is a future bomb that's coming.
You love these future bombs.
It could be a terrorist threat. I don't know. I think it was last week, 5 really short teasers came out for a movie called Ghost in the Shell.
Right.
Which I loved the graphic novels, the movies, and the TV series, all of which were actually separate entities.
Right.
But they all had the same general idea behind them. And as good as these trailers look, especially with Scarlett Johansson in them, because how can it not look good with her in anything? Because she's not wearing that much makeup. It looks like it's going to be a good movie, a good story, but not Ghost in the Shell. Because it's... I don't know. It takes place in Japan. Nihama. Well, I'm sorry. The graphic novels, the movie, and the TV series, animated movies, and the TV series take place in Nihama. Mm-hmm. I don't know where this is going to take place, but
Cleveland.
It would make more sense at this point because Scarlett Johansson is not Asian, and there was a big fuss made about this. Not just that they didn't really cast any Asians,
right,
in an all-Asian movie. Hint. But there was some movie... I've forgotten who's putting this movie together. But they asked a special effects company if there was a filter they could put on the characters to make them look Asian. And I thought, no. Kelly Hu is free. Get her to play the Major Motoko Kusanagi.
Paramount, by the way.
Thank you. I was going to say 20th Century Fox because it just sounds like something Fox would do.
It does.
But, does Scarlett Johansson look like a Motoko Kusanagi to you? I don't get that.
That would be a no.
But one of the... it doesn't need the structure of Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Shell's established continuum, especially if they're going to completely ignore it. One of the main things from the TV series, and that's where they're kind of going with this, is they're doing the story of the Laughing Man, which ran across a 26-episode season. And one of the big things about it was kind of the Laughing Man was kind of a Kaiser Soze character, mm-hmm. where you spend the whole movie going, I don't know who it is, but we got to find him before we can arrest him or shoot him or whatever, but we don't know who it is. Kaiser Soze, in this case, the Laughing Man, is listed in the credits on IMDb. So, blown that already. Because would the usual suspects have worked if you looked up on IMDb who Kaiser Soze was?
Would have been a little difficult.
It wouldn't have worked.
Right.
That's the entire purpose of the usual suspects, and now they're doing it with this, and... boy, boy, are you going to have to make a lot of changes to even get close to making that to work. It doesn't make sense that they're no longer a police/military unit. They work for a private company. That doesn't make any sense anymore. And there's a lot of people who have looked at it and said, it may look pretty, but it's not going to work. And I'm one of them. So, future bomb. I'll watch it when it comes out if DVDs still exist. That's just something that's been bugging the crap out of me for months now.
I am sad that you are suffering personal insults from Paramount, but I'm not surprised because, like you mentioned, the Fantastic Four, and so many times they take properties and all they really want is the name recognition.
And that's exactly what they're doing with this, is name recognition.
Which is sad, which is actually pathetic. Yeah, it is disturbing when things like that happened. I had mentioned Magnificent Seven, which they did more than do the name recognition. I'm generally not a fan of doing these reboots and remakes and stuff. It's like, the RoboCop remake that came out a few years ago. As a standalone film, if there had not been an original RoboCop, it would have been a pretty decent movie.
Exactly.
But that's it. But if you want to spend $30 million and burn up 2,000 prints of RoboCop and clean it up and put it out. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a freaking lousy remake of it. The Magnificent Seven, though, is different because they kind of deconstructed the original film. They did a different spin on it. You mentioned the lack of cultural and ethnic diversity in Ghost in the Shell and Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. That has come up because there's virtually no diversity in this film either. Magnificent Seven, Anton Fuqua being the director, there are lead characters from a lot of different ethnic groups. The Magnificent Seven, one of them is a Native American, one of them is an Asian, and I would say he's Chinese or whatever. But to me, I didn't catch exactly where he was from because there's another character says, "Well, I met him in Shanghai," but he's just lying at that point, so who knows where he's supposed to be from. So, and of course, Denzel Washington has the lead, which originally was Yul Brynner. I like the fact that they changed up the characters. There's analogs to the original film. If you've seen the original film, okay, Charles Bronson is this guy, and Steve McQueen is Brenner's best buddy. So Chris Pratt basically is an analog for the Steve McQueen character, except he's different, and he's different enough that it makes a big difference in the film. And Ethan Hawke is kind of an analog of the Robert Vaughn character, but he's much more important in this film, and there are different things that happen. I mean, it's about, there's a lot more interplay about how important personal courage is, and really than it is in the original film. And I like the fact that the characters that they decided, let's have some more ethnic characters. They're not tokens. There's a purpose behind this is why this character is Native American. And I don't want to put any spoilers out, but if you use a Star Trek term, the red shirts aren't the red shirts you typically think of. So I'll just put it that way. I thought it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Does it hold up to the original? I think it does pretty well. And considering how good that movie is, I think that's a good... they did a really good job. I especially like that there's a callback to at the very end of the credits they have the original theme of the Magnificent Seven, because that's like one of the all-time great movie themes.
That's an iconic theme.
Absolutely, and I think they were smart not to go with it. I mean, there are notes of it in the theme for this film, but they do play the original score at the end, which is pretty sweet. But I think it's definitely worth watching, and to me it's kind of sad that it's not doing better at the box office when we've got reboots that are just kind of like you were talking in pre-pro, and we talked a little bit last week about Ghostbusters. Yeah. And, most of these movies are not doing well. Magnificent Seven should be. It's a really, really good movie. And honestly, what percentage of the audience at this point has seen the Magnificent Seven?
2.
Right, probably. So it's sad that, to me, if you've seen the original movie, you should still see this movie. And most people haven't seen the original anyway,
right,
even though it's an iconic film. So definitely get out there and see it on the big screen, because it's a big, sweeping, open, epic Western, which is interesting considering the films that this guy has made before. I mean, this is It's got the big sweep of like a John Ford film. And coming from the guy who did Training Day, that's pretty interesting. So he dove right into the format, and it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
And I think when they remake movies, they need to go back to remake really, really older movies. Not movies that have, come out, like Ghostbusters.
Right.
Most people who are going to go see Ghostbusters were around when the first one came out.
Yes.
Go back a bit more. And, along with the Ghostbusters thing, because I think the reason that became so popular was just because of the gender change thing, which they did for no good reason. It's not that I don't want women in major roles. If you're going to remake it and do a gender change, there should be a logical purpose behind it. Not just do it because you can do it. The reason I bring that up is because of another reboot that's coming out where I think they did it correctly. And this one's going to be on TV, not in the movies, although it could come up with a movie someday. They're rebooting Magnum P.I. I don't know if you saw this, Todd, but
I did not see this.
ABC is coming out with a new version of Magnum P.I. where the character of Tommy Magnum, Tommy in quotes, is really Lily Magnum. So we've got a female lead, and I know Todd is probably looking at me funny through the computer somewhere, going, but Rob, that sounds like they just changed genders for no reason, except if you followed the original Magnum P.I. series, it turned out he had a daughter. For the last several episodes, hey, a daughter from nowhere. It was one of those script things. This is the same character who just grew up and took over her dad's PI firm.
So she must be 70 at this point, because that's an old show.
It's not that old, but I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's set in the 80s.
Nice.
It could be. I don't know. But it makes sense.
It does.
For there to be a gender change in this, as opposed to just, let's make Egon this girl with really weird hair and yellow goggles.
Because it's a continuation.
Right. It's not.
That makes sense.
I suppose technically it's not even a reboot. It's the continuation, like what they did with Doctor Who, which started in '63, ran to '89. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a long series, and then they took a few years off. And when they brought it back in 2005, it wasn't a new series; it's a continuation.
Right.
And they even have brought characters back, which I thought was brilliant. But so it's not technically a full reboot. I want to get your opinion on this, though, and I'm switching to another subject. Mad Max.
Yes.
Which is, I know one of your favorite series is Okay, the way I understand it is, the movies go Mad Max, Road Warrior, Thunderdome, Furry Road.
Correct.
I said it correctly. That's the order they're supposed to be in, right?
That's the order in which they were released. That is correct.
Okay, but is that the order they go actually in the movie? I'm fairly certain it is.
I think probably yes. It's kind of hard to tell. I think they kind of ignore Thunderdome. I don't think they really reference Thunderdome.
As well
and no one should mention Thunderdome ever. So.
The reason I bring that up is they announced that they're making a Fury Road prequel, which to me would have been Thunderdome. That just made sense. The Herald Sun, which is a major Australian newspaper, has said they're going to be filming it. Pre-production is gearing up, possibly filming as early as the end of the year. Tom Hardy returning as Max. And yes, Fury Road was a really good 2.5-hour car chase that had a guy with a guitar that needed to be shot considerably sooner. I know you liked it, though.
I did like it. I liked it a lot.
So,
I think that's... Well, we'll see. It could be terrible. It depends on how it works out. I mean, George Miller, who directed the original and did Fury Road, he's working on this again, so that's cool. Perhaps this one is actually going to focus on Mad Max, and I know that's something you had said long ago, that you had a hard time figuring out why this is called Mad Max when it wasn't about Mad Max, and it isn't.
It isn't.
So perhaps that's what they're going to do, which Tom Hardy is great. I kind of, to me, it's almost a waste to have him in a role where he doesn't talk much. But
as long as he talks better than he did in the last Batman movie, we'll be fine.
That's true. I don't think it can get worse than that. So yeah, I think that's cool. I'm looking forward to it, and odds are probably 50-50 that it'll be good. Just because, what are the odds that any movie are going to be? Even with George Miller involved, still, So we'll see. I mean, the original Mad Max I like. I mean, it's such a different film from The Road Warrior, and it is. There are probably 10 times as many people who've seen The Road Warrior who saw the original Mad Max, and it's so different. The whole series, its entire reputation is built off that sequel. It's not built off the original, and it sure as hell is not built off Thunderdome. So, wow, man alive.
Wasn't that the one with Master Blaster?
It's the one with Master Blaster and Tina Turner, which, is like, okay, Tina Turner's pretty cool.
Tina Turner and her hair.
Yes, exactly.
I'm pretty sure those are actually separately listed in the credits.
They should be. Hopefully she continued to perform with that hair all the time, because she should have. She's fun in that movie. And, that movie's got so many issues. But, I do like the fact, and I agree, that they make remakes and they reboot things so frequently. It's like The Magnificent Seven, the original film, which I looked up because I was thinking, I know it's in the 60s. It's 1960. 56 years ago.
Wow.
I did not realize that movie is that freaking old. So
got me beat by quite a bit.
It doesn't quite have me beat, but then again, I'm like, I am the ancient one of podcasting, at least on Happy Hour Network.
You're in the next Doctor Strange movie?
I am in the next Doctor Strange movie. And I am Tilda Swinton. I would like to be Tilda Swinton. At least when I cash my paycheck, that would be nice.
I refuse to comment on the grounds that I like my marriage.
However, yeah, the cast that we mentioned last week, I'm really looking forward to that movie because that cast is so good. And Marvel products, not just movies, but Marvel products, Marvel Studios is turning out such amazingly good work. We've talked about Luke Cage.
You said you've already started Luke Cage.
Yes, I've seen the first 4 episodes. And I'm not going to go in depth into it because Rob hasn't had a chance to start binging on it because he has to watch it when his children are basically out of the county.
Yeah.
Because it's that kind of production. But man, I am blown away. I mean, I really liked Daredevil when it came out. And then Jessica Jones came out and it was like, holy crap. I only thought Daredevil was good. And then the second season of Daredevil came out and they threw in The Punisher. And I can't say it was better than Jessica Jones, but it was better than the first season of Daredevil, which
was really good.
I was really good, exactly. And now with Luke Cage, if the whole series holds up, for me, the way the first 4 episodes are, and everyone I've talked to who's seen more, it does. They have absolutely knocked it out of the park. This is better than anything they've done so far in TV. This might be the best Marvel product they've done, period, including all the movies. It is so well done. It fits the material. And we're talking about diversity in films. And Luke Cage, of course, is like, well, the hero's black. And wisely, they didn't, cast Tom Cruise as Luke Cage and try to digitally make him look African-American, for God's sakes.
Damn it, now you've given him an idea.
Almost the entire cast is black. It's set in Harlem. There are probably going to be a few black people around in Harlem. And man, this thing
Stewart's
is so
not going to make an appearance?
Probably not. Although she's generally really upset and pouty, and she would fit into the series for that reason. The music is just absolutely amazing. It fits in so well. I was just talking with our friends Lee and Ted, and I said even the opening credits they make 3 references to Malcolm X, no references to Martin Luther King.
Uh-oh.
That is absolutely deliberate because that fits the tone of this series.
It does.
Because it's about virtually every character does anything they can do to do what they need to do by any means necessary. That's what this is about. It is so good. It is so beyond a comic book show. This is just it's amazing.
If you take the
love
word
it.
Marvel off of it and just put it out as Luke Cage, I think it would. I still think it would probably work.
absolutely. You take away the fact that he's bulletproof, and I'm sorry, spoiler alert, Luke Cage, a character who's been around since 1975.
They already established that in Jessica Jones. It's fine.
He's bulletproof. He's really strong. This thing would work so well, and which is what makes this series work so well. This is like Shaft, but taken seriously, mixed in with Across 110th Street on steroids. I mean, this is just a guy who's trying to do the right thing for himself and for his community, and it's just kind of a byproduct of that he's got superpowers, which is really the case for all of these Marvel properties on Netflix. They're not about superheroes. They're about people trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And it's just, they happen to have powers. That's why they all work so well.
It helps.
Oh my God! Yeah, it helps. Yeah, there are certain scenes that you would have a hard time rewriting if he wasn't bulletproof. Okay,
right.
We get that. But man, alive, it is so good, and I wasn't really sure about because everyone is rooting for someone else to get the gig when it first came up, and then it was Mike Coulter, and it's like, okay, well, I saw him in this, and he was pretty good, but he hadn't done a whole lot of work. But man. He is freaking Luke Cage. He is so good, and I'm not talking about the fact that he's big. I mean, his personality is big. There's a line at the end of, I believe it's the second episode, maybe it's the third, but when you see it, you'll know he's confronted by a thug, and you'll know. And wow, it's like the best thing I've seen on TV this year. It is just so good, so good. This guy nails it. He is a really freaking good actor. Really, really good. I would be really happy to see him in anything because he's got some depth. He's something else. And the whole cast is really, really good.
I enjoyed when the character popped up in Jessica Jones, so I'm looking forward to seeing this, and hopefully I'll have watched at least some of it by the time we do another show.
Yeah, I'd be interested for your take on it. And it's like, as good as the character was in Jessica Jones, well, you can't really scratch the surface because he has impenetrable skin. But, yeah, they barely touched on what this guy is all about. This is such a good show. Makes me happy.
Good. I'm wondering, would you consider it a good adaptation of the comic book?
I'm glad you asked, because you know what? I have never read a Luke Cage comic book, because in 1975 I was pretty much out of comics. I mean, I wasn't reading anything. It's not like, ew, I'm not going to read about a black character. But, yeah, I'm familiar with the character, of course, because of just pop culture knowledge, but so I can't really speak to that. They do reference the ridiculous outfit that Luke Cage wore because it was the 70s.
Thank you. I was wondering if that was going to come up because that was...
They do reference it, and they do it brilliantly. It's great. I mean, there is kind of a throwback to it because all he wears is a hoodie, but the hoodie on the inside is lined in yellow.
Oh, there we go.
Which is sweet. So there's a reference to it all the time. But they do reference that ridiculous costume at one point in the series, and it's great. It is. I
remember it from the ye olde costume and thinking, even back then, that it looked kind of silly.
Oh, it was so silly. I mean, he's wearing a freaking tiara. He's wearing a tiara, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And he's got Wonder Woman bracelets. and the bright yellow shirt open to the waist. And it's like...
it's very 70s... It's 70s...
Oh, it is so...
Something. I don't know.
It is so 70s blinged out before there was bling. Yeah, it's... Wow. It is so... Yeah, it's out there. But they do reference it in the show, and it's great. So... And it's a fun... I mean, it's a very serious, gripping, tough series, but there's still quite a bit of humor in it. It's good. And already just in 4 episodes, characters go in different paths than you think they're going to go, and I'm sure that continues. So, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. This could be the Luke Cage show, and I would be happy talking about it for an hour. I mean, it's so good.
No, I mentioned the book because I sent you the list earlier this week that came out of from the United Kingdom. The Guardian asked people what they thought was the best book-to-film adaptation to date. And some of the stuff on the list, I do understand. Some of them I had questions about. The top of the list was the Harry Potter series. Duh. Also on the list, I'm not going to mention them in order because I think the order is kind of silly and a little bit random. The Lord of the Rings series and the Green Mile The Chronicles of Narnia, fine. But then we get things like A Christmas Carol. And we were talking about this before the show. Which version?
Yeah, exactly. Which of the 37 versions, film versions, are you talking about?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't. The thing about that is it the Willy Wonka version, which I thought was a better movie, or the more recent Tim Burton smoked crack before he made it version? And actually, I wanted to ask you this about that movie. Have you seen the new one?
I have seen it once.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, they got Johnny Depp to play Willy Wonka. And I understand they wanted that for the name recognition, to bring people into the theater. I get that. What I'm wondering is why they got Johnny Depp to play Mike Myers playing Willy Wonka. They made him over to even look like Mike Myers. What was the point of bringing this guy in if you're going to make him look exactly like somebody else? That doesn't make sense.
The problem I had with the movie is they made him such a damaged character.
Very.
That
he is the daughter of, what's the guy's name? Roald Dahl?
Roald Dahl, yeah.
Roald Dahl. His daughter said that was more accurate with the book, which I'll admit I've never read. So,
yeah, and I did a long time ago, and of course, all of his stuff is just really dark and grim, really.
What, like Tim Burton?
In a fun way, yeah, like Tim Burton, which is why people were initially excited about, oh, Tim Burton's doing this. This is fantastic, except then they saw the movie. He was so freaking damaged. You kind of felt sorry for him, but he went overboard making him a creepy character, which is why the first one works so well, because he's a really, really creepy ass character. But the charm that oh my God, I know you're laughing because it's true, right?
Exactly.
I mean, he's oh God, he's an absolute freaking horror show. He kidnaps children and they're all gone, you know? It's like, what the hell is going on with this guy? This guy is a freaking psychopath. But Gene Wilder's charm makes it work. Absolutely makes it work. And that was not there, and that's not Johnny Depp's fault. Johnny Depp is certainly charming. It's because it's like
Mike Myers' fault.
Yeah, this is how we want you to play it. And it's like, God, what a bad movie. So that's a pretty easy one to decide which film worked and which one didn't. Yeah, no kidding.
It just did want to ask you this, though, and I didn't mean to bring this up.
Yeah, you did.
But I'm going to. I honestly didn't, which is why you heard me typing just now going, I've forgotten the other actor's name. When they did the Green Lantern movie a few years ago.
Yes.
The one that bombed.
Yes.
With Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds was, on his way up, becoming the big name that he is today.
He was.
Why was it when they put him in the Green Lantern mask, did they make him look like Ben Stiller?
Maybe he looks like Ben Stiller when you can't see his eyes. I don't know.
It's just something that struck me as odd. It's the Johnny Depp, Mike Myers, Ryan Reynolds, beautiful man. Everybody loves him because he's gorgeous. And then they put the mask on him and turned him into Ben Stiller. And
well, maybe his face was digitized too, since the rest of the suit was.
I don't know. It didn't make sense to me.
No, it didn't make sense very little about that movie made sense. And I love the fact that in Deadpool he references that movie.
Yeah.
So that's a one of the many beautiful moments of the incredibly R-rated Deadpool, which no child under the age of 40 should see. Well, maybe 35. Man, that movie's R-rated.
Very much so. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I'll agree with you.
But so fun. So fun.
It is.
And again, that's Deadpool. That's not the Green Lantern. Please, for the love of God, do not watch the Green Lantern if you've not seen it, because your eyes will hurt for hours and your brain will hurt for days. It
had pretty special effects in it.
Yeah, well,
and that's about it.
There was a lot of green stuff in it that was fun.
Yeah.
I like green.
Okay, so Fast and Furious. I'll tie it together. Give me a minute. Justin Lin, right?
Yes.
Directed Fast 5 and the new Star Trek Beyond. Have you heard about his new project?
I believe I have. Elucidate, and we'll see if it's the thing I'm talking about.
Because they make a reference to it in the Green Lantern movie. He's making a Hot Wheels movie.
That's not the project I was thinking of, but I did hear about that. Yes, a Hot Wheels movie.
I mean, I understand some toys getting, a theatrical or a TV treatment, like, G.I. Joes and Transformers, My Little Ponies. Barbie has a series of direct-to-DVD films that I've been forced to watch because I have 3 daughters.
You lucky man.
But how can you make a movie out of Hot Wheels? That has even less of a storyline than Battleship.
I was going to say,
how that did.
You can make a movie out of Battleship. I mean, come on. I'm still waiting for Jenga, the movie. I think that'll be fascinating.
I swear I saw something where they're making a Jenga movie.
Hey, they made a movie out of Angry Birds, which I have not seen, but the clips actually looked funny, and the reviews are actually fairly decent. So, Hot Wheels, why not? Sure, go ahead. I mean, again, going back to name recognition, that's all it's about. Nobody cares what the movie's going to be about. Nobody cares anything except name recognition. Does it have a built-in draw? Will parents be forced to take their kids, or if they're smart, drop their kids off to see the Hot Wheels movie? It's like, boom. They look at it and they say, there's $60 million in box office already built in. Think of the cross promotion, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what it is, which is sad, but that's what it is.
I just now read this because I didn't actually finish reading the article. I got as far as they're making a Hot Wheels movie and kind of blurred the rest of it out. They have made more than 5 billion little cars since 1968.
That's a few cars. I think at one point or another I've stepped on about half of those too.
Yeah. It's not as bad as Lego for stepping on.
No. There's an excellent meme on the rounds of the interwebs. A rare photo of a great white stepping on a Lego. It's cute. It's very good. I like that. That's some good stuff. Yeah, that's really, really strange to go from anything reputable to the Hot Wheels movie. But you know what? I'm sure he's happy to have a paycheck. So
yeah.
Oh my God.
Maybe they're paying him in 5 billion tiny cars.
That would be cool. paid off in product instead of actual money.
There you go.
I don't think he would go for that deal because he's not hurting for work. That's for sure.
No.
Guy's been busy, very, very busy. But man, not a movie I'm going to catch.
No,
that's for sure.
But I know you're going to go see the new Lion King.
I know
you wanted to bring it up this week.
Depending on who is in it, I may take a chance on it. But actually, I didn't really care. Well, I can't say I didn't like it, but I didn't care a lot for the Jungle Book live action remake, which is live action in the fact that they had like 2 human actors and the rest is CGI. But it just didn't work for me.
Yeah,
it just didn't work. And
I don't think there weren't any humans in the Lion King, were there?
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So I'm curious. I haven't read. Are they doing a filmed version of the Broadway play? That would be interesting. I'm sure that's not what they're doing. So I'm not sure how it works since there are no human characters in it. And again, why are you doing this? It's like, just freaking re-release the original one and don't release the Lion King 1.5. One of these direct-to-video things. Do the original one. I don't get it. Unless they're filming the play, which would be kind of interesting, but I can't imagine them doing that because that's not going to make a ton of money.
No.
So that's kind of mind-boggling, doing a live-action Lion King. It's very mind-boggling.
It's going to be weird.
I would say so. And if hopefully they don't make the mistake of having Bill Murray in it, because to me that was the thing that was most jarring. And Bill Murray is one of my favorite actors. He's so funny and he's so good in serious roles too. But it was so jarring having him as the bear because it's Bill Murray the whole time, and that freaking god awful rendition of the song, the iconic song again. Where he's just talking because he can't sing. What freaking moron okayed that? If you want him to sing, get somebody who can sing. Marnie Nixon was still alive. Have her dub the damn thing. I mean,
do what they did with one of my favorite times when they did something like that, Nightmare Before Christmas, where they had Chris Sarandon was the speaking voice of Jack Skelton.
Right.
But if he's singing, it's Danny Elfman.
Right.
Who I think has a very underrated voice.
And that's a beautiful scene in a terrific movie.
Yeah.
So I just didn't get... The Jungle Book just did not work for me. And obviously I'm one of the few people, because it worked for billions of people.
Yeah, it's... let's see, I'm sorry, this is the first Jungle Book that I have the numbers for. So, never mind.
Or is it the Jungle Book with Sabu? That's another film, another story that's been told more than a few times. So, Jungle Book was huge. I mean, it's over 1 billion worldwide easily. So, obviously, I am in the minority on that. But for me, and again, it's not bad, but it just, A, it didn't work, and 2, and I did that deliberately, it's pointless. Because, again, the original is iconic, and show that movie. So,
yeah. Ooh, look, maybe another potential future bomb. We'll have it released the same weekend as Ghost in the Shell.
Not going to be a future bomb. People, I'm sure, will go in droves to see The Lion King, regardless of what
I think
version.
You're probably right.
Whatever version. And, maybe it'll be good. That would be nice. I can't see how that works. But it wouldn't be the first time. And probably, won't be the last time in the hour, I'm sure, that I'm wrong. So, no problem there. Good luck to them. It's not that it's like, they don't deserve to do well. It's if they do a good job, of course.
Right.
I just don't see how you can make that work. But we'll see. Sometime in the distant future. Same week as Ghost in the Shell.
Right.
No, not really.
No, I think Ghost in the Shell's coming out in like March.
Yeah, that would be a really quick turnaround. That's not
all right,
happen.
Everybody run!
Disney doing guerrilla filming. Like, no. Yeah. They have longer than a 3-day shoot on The Lion King. Although that's probably the way to do it. That is the damn way to do it. Just film it in, I don't know, Cleveland again. Why not?
Yeah, and get Disney chief Bob Iger to make comments about it. See, that's my tie-in to the next thing that I wanted to throw out.
He live tweets during the movie.
Yeah, there we go. He was talking, Bob Iger, the Disney chief of all movies or something, was talking about the next Star Wars movie, Rogue One, which comes out in December.
Yes.
And looks interesting, but I like that he said that this movie, they're not expecting it to make anywhere near as much as The Force Awakens did. Which I think that it's not a slam against the movie.
Right.
It's finally someone's looking at, our movie's coming out, it's not going to be the second coming of God.
Right.
And admitting that up front, I think, is brilliant.
I agree.
Because then we don't have to worry about the whole how much money it makes things. They know it's not going to make as much as their previous box office smashes.
Absolutely. They're setting the bar low. So if it makes $600 million, they can say, hey, we're happy.
Yeah.
And it's going to do better than that. Obviously it will. But yeah, because
opening weekend. No.
Probably. But they're very smart to set the bar low because the expectations are sky high, and it's hard to hell, what did it do? 1.4 billion worldwide, 1.3?
No. Force Awakens, 2.1.
Yeah. I was just going to say it was over 2, right? Because I was thinking of the Avengers thing.
I think it was 1.4 just in the States.
Probably. So they would be insane to come out and publicly say, we expect it to do even better. They're like, no, come on, who would do that? You'd be a
highest grossing film of all time, and no, you're not.
Right, exactly. They're smart. They're very smart to do that. And honestly, if it does, $600 million, okay, I'm sure that would be a disappointment. But if it does $800 million,
you'll be fine.
This is such a secondary story. It's not a prequel. Okay, you're playing a video game, and it's your favorite video game. This is a side quest.
Right.
This is something you don't even have to frickin' play. And it's like, okay, well, that was fun. That's all this is. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. But for anyone to have big expectations for box office on it, that's crazy. I think they're very smart to come out and say that.
Episode 3.85.
I actually have better expectations for this movie than The Force Awakens. Because, I mean, I liked it, but it was just kind of like, to me, it's such a rehash of the first film. It's just kind of like, you know, this is a new story. They have chances. They have a chance to go in a lot of different directions. So I have a chance to see something new. That's exciting. I mean, and yeah, Darth Vader will be on, so that's kind of cool. Darth Vader alone is probably going to make $1 billion just because people can see Darth Vader again, honestly. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Where he's not yelling, no.
Oh my God. That thing, those disasters, and these are disaster films, those were on TNT endlessly a couple of weeks ago. And so I watched bits and pieces of the films. Somehow I managed to miss the first one, luckily. But I saw it off and on 3 different times, and just... George Lucas is a terrible, terrible, terrible fucking director.
No, I'm gonna bring up something that's odd and controversial. Me?
Please do.
Okay. The way I think, and I think this makes sense. How do you rank the Star Wars movies from worst to best?
Empire.
No, start with the worst.
Oh, start with the worst.
Start with the worst.
Wow. Geez. I guess episode 1.
Okay.
And then I'll go with 3. Then I'll go with 2, which of course is Attack of the Clones. Then I'll go with the Ewok Festival.
Oh, come on.
And then I'll go... No, I'm not saying it's worst. I'm saying, you know, that's the 3rd best Star Wars film to me.
Okay.
Then I'll go with the original Star Wars, and Empire Strikes Back to me is the best one.
Would it be too much of a catastrophe if we actually said from worst to first it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Which is what I think he did on purpose, because if you look at the original Star Wars, was really good. Empire Strikes Back, better even, and then Return of the Jedi, some people say is better than Empire, some people say is just as good, some not quite as good, but still, there's a progression there. But can you really have 1, 2, and 3 be better than the original 4, 5, and 6? Because then, for future generations, they're going to start with, I've heard about this Star Wars thing. I'll start at the beginning, which in future generations, it's going to be obvious that 1 is where you should start. And that just makes sense.
Sure.
So you start with 1, which, if you compare it to the rest of the movies, is crap. But it's kind of a good... It's not a horrific movie, especially if you find the version where they've cut out Jar Jar. It's a good...
It's a 45-minute
primer for the Star Wars universe. Then you go, you know, this wasn't a bad movie. You watch 2 and you go, that was better. I kind of like this. Anakin's made out of wood now. So I'm surprised he doesn't say Groot repeatedly. But... you know, it's not bad. Then y'all watch 3. 3 is even better than 2. I like this. All right. And 4? Wow, 4 is better than 3, and so on and so forth. And I think that's where he was going with this, which makes it harder on those of us who watched it when it came out in theaters 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
I don't think he's that smart. I just and there's a gap between 1 and 2 and 3. There's not a gap between 3 and 4. There is a ocean between 3 and 4.
True.
3 is a bad movie. I mean, if it wasn't Star Wars characters, it would be a bad movie. You know, like you said, if you've never seen these characters before, when we were talking about the Fantastic Four, it's a better the latest iteration of it. It's a better movie, and it is. It's still not really good, but it's a better movie.
Right.
But Revenge of the Sith, if you don't have any of the references to the other characters, it's not a good movie. And when I said, you mentioned, of course, his name escapes me, thank God, the guy who plays Anakin, and I said it's like Lucas is such a
something.
Christian Leitner. George Lucas is such a bad director, and I mean a bad director of people, of humans. He does not do well with people. He doesn't, and it's not because of the work that Christian Leitner does. He's not a good actor, period. But when you have Ewan McGregor and Natalie Portman, and you can make them pedestrian and kind of boring, that's a special talent. That takes a lot of work to make them look bad. Because
I think for me, the big thing was having Anakin be, 2 years old in the first one. And all of a sudden in the next movie, he's banging Natalie Portman, who is already that much older, and you kind of go, hang on a minute. There's something pedophilic about this. Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
And I had to look it up because I had kind of pushed him out of my mind.
The timelines just don't work well, which again is another whole issue with George Lucas and all of his. I've planned this out so well, which is, well, of course, why you had Luke and Leia, getting kind of hot and heavy for a while because, that's cool. It's like
George Lucas is really from Kentucky.
Just the whole, just admit that, wow, this worked out really well. Now I'm going to don't come up with this crap similar to the Wachowskis with their bullshit about, we had this whole Matrix thing. Really? Did you have the Matrix trilogy planned out? Because
it's
if you did,
trilogy anymore.
You're terrible. Oh, God, don't.
They're making a 4 and a 5.
Well, hopefully they pick up on the Animatrix because that's where they need to pick up on because they should just forget that 2 and 3 ever happened.
2 had a great action sequence in it.
It did. Those movies are just so confused and confusing and bad.
I thought 2 was okay if you cut out, the Zion part of it.
Yeah, if you cut out like 40% of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's weird because the first one is so good. It's so cool. And it's like just to have just completely lost the thread. It is as if George Lucas had been advising them and saying, well, okay, here's what you do. You just tell people that this was all part of the big plan.
It's all a dream.
Yeah. No kidding.
Trinity wakes up and wanders into the shower, and there's Bobby Dallas, or whatever his name was. Bobby Ewing.
Bobby Dallas. That would be better. I think he's the third string quarterback behind Dak Prescott, and I know that's a sports reference. Sorry, but
Tony Romo's in the shower with Trinity. What? He still can't complete a pass. Sorry, that's.
Ooh, well done, sir. That was so well done.
Thank you. I'll be here for another 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. So Christian Laettner? Anyway. Wow. I don't know. Where are we going next? Okay, so Kristen Stewart, I mentioned a little while ago because I have one actual bit about her this week. She who would have made a better Groot. She is allegedly in a new movie called Personal Shopper. All right. Now, I did not bother watching the trailer because I can't be bothered. But I am hoping at some point during this movie, her personal shopper finds her a personality at a fairly decent price.
Not sure that...
I'm hoping that's actually what the plot is.
That's going to take a lot of work, and I don't think that's going to come cheap.
I don't know that they have the budget for it, but...
although she could have a bad personality, that would probably be kind of cheap.
Any personality. She doesn't have one.
No, she's kind of sad.
You want to end on a happier note?
Please.
Okay, happier note. It goes back to Captain Sully.
I like it.
All right. Only this is more in a real-life thing. It's not really movie-related.
Even better.
There's a guy named Mark Pennell, and I'm not really sure where he's from. I didn't read that much up on him. I did notice that he made news this week because he was flying his S-10 kit plane, which is a plane that he put together himself with a lovely propeller in the front and everything. And there is a YouTube video that you can look up, and this is fairly interesting to watch, really, because as he's going along, just flying, la-di-da, see the propeller in the front of the plane for a little while until it falls off. You just see the propeller go, zzz, whee, and off it goes, leaving this guy in a plane that has nothing to power it with. Now, there's audio, so we should be able to hear any kind of expletive come out of the guy when he sees the propeller on his own plane fly off. Nothing. He just kind of goes, oh, there goes the propeller. Oh, well. Guides the plane in for a landing on a runway. No power at all. I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
You can't make a movie out of it. There's already a YouTube video. It lasts all of 3 minutes.
And what would be great is if Kristen Stewart was on that plane, she would just kind of...
Well, the propeller looks like it was made out of wood. So she might have been in it.
Well, it was. She might have been the propeller.
She was the propeller, and they... See? Whee! off it goes.
Then again, she'd have to be the driving force, and that's impossible. So could have been the propeller.
Oh, that was good. Well done, my friend.
Selfie.
Ta-da!
I think we have finished punishing the audience at this point.
I think we have, because I've run out of. I had a list of stuff, and I've run through it all.
Excellent. My closing statement will be: if you don't have Netflix, go spend the money, because there are other things on Netflix which are cool, but by itself, and I am serious, by itself, Luke Cage alone is worth shelling the money to get Netflix and really get the free trial. Scam them.
Ooh, that'll work.
You'll have 7 days to watch it, and there's only 13 episodes. Score!
Mission accomplished. Binge acquired.
Rob, we will speak next week.
Have a good week, everybody, and try not to watch any Kristen Stewart movies. That's a good line to end on, I think.
That sounds like a rap. That sounds like a rap to me. That was good.
Let's see.
I said come back tomorrow!
When you don't go to geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your move.